go ahead and get started. But real quick, as we're getting ready to do that, for those of you who might have other direct seller friends and things like that, if you have anybody that you feel is going to be able to benefit from this particular scope, just to give you a heads up on what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about basically the ways that you want to deal with your customers and your hostesses and things like that. So it's kind of how we can best serve them. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in hearing that topic, feel free to go ahead and invite them now. You can do that either by swiping up or swiping over, depending on your device, or you can also click the little Perryman down there in the corner, click share broadcast, and then share with either all followers or with the select few that you get to choose. Okay? All right. And for those of you who might be here joining us for the very first time, if this is your first time here live, would you please put a 1 in the box along with your first name and the direct sales company that you are with? Okay, and then that just lets me know if we have any new people here or what different types of businesses are represented here. I will say that probably the majority of people here are going to be with Premier Designs, simply because that's my peeps. That's who I know. Good morning, Tanya. All right, so I love it. Listen, I feed off y'all's energy, and I didn't realize just how much until yesterday when it was literally me and Tanya. Like, it was just her and I having a conversation is basically what that wound up being. So I'm just so thankful you guys are here. So for anyone, again, who might be joining us for the very first time, because I did see that several of you have invited your followers. Thank you so much for doing that. So if you are joining us for the very first time, would you please put a 1 in the box along with your first name and the direct sales company that you work with. Yes, we are awesome at Premier, aren't we? So we are going to be talking today about the best ways to serve your customers. And y'all can thank my honey for this being the topic today. We were kind of discussing things Monday night. Allow me to just very quickly tell you just how awesome my husband is. And then I'll do a quick introduction of myself for those who might not know. So my hubby, okay, loves our business, and I say our business because even though it is a jewelry company, this is just as much his business as what it is mine. He's all in, and he is still working full time as a pipe fitter during the day. So needless to say, while I tend to be the first one, well, Michelle, I'm glad that you are here, awake, and able to comment. So needless to say, while I tend to do most of the kind of behind the scenes type thing, he is very involved with our home shows, with our trainings, with our downline, he's all in, and he's looking forward to the day that he can be all in, as in this being his full-time job. So Monday there was a training with our downline and our upline and our sideline and all of that up in York, Pennsylvania. Now we live in Delaware, so it's about a 2.5-hour drive. And even though he had to get up Tuesday morning at 3:45 in the morning to go to work, he insisted that we do not miss that monthly training. And because he didn't want us to have to drive separate, okay, he says, I will come home from work, I'll get a quick shower, we will both run up, we will do the 2.5-hour drive there, do the 2 hours of training, and then come back. Jennifer, no problem, catch on the replay. So needless to say, we left our home at like 3:45 in the afternoon, and we didn't get home until about 11:30, and then he had to turn around and get up at 3:45 to go to work. And then I came home yesterday, cooked dinner, mowed the yard, everything else, so that I could get my workout in. And so yeah, he's just awesome. He's just awesome. So while we were on our drive to that training, we got to talking, and I was telling him how, I said, so what are some things that you feel we should be touching? He absolutely is. He's phenomenal. So what are some things, that you feel like perhaps we could be mentioning on the scopes. Like, give me some ideas of different things. He is Miss Tanya. So one of the things that he said was he feels like we can never hear enough how we should be serving our customers and our hostesses. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to be sharing some of the different things that can help you with that. So real quick, as we have some other people who have come in, just to give you a quick introduction of who I am. My name is Buffy Hood. I'm with Premier Designs Jewelry and have been with them for over 9 years. I use Periscope as a way to be able to share my experiences and help other people in their direct sales business, and just be able to be here to help offer those experiences so perhaps they don't have to learn it the hard way like some of the experiences that I've had to learn over the years. Okay. All right. So in terms of taking great care of your customers and hostesses, I have just a few tips. But the first is to be sure that you are, and this part specifically goes to my Premier peeps. Be sure that you are applying Premier's philosophy to your everyday life. Okay. Thank you, sweetheart. Be sure that you are applying Premier's philosophy to your everyday life. And that's at your home shows, that's when you're out and about, that's whatever. Okay. So be sure that you're doing that. And remember that every hostess, this goes out to everyone, every hostess and customer is created equal. Okay. Period. Like, it does not matter their home, the number of guests, the retail, how much they spent on an order, whether or not they spent anything on an order, whether or not they were able to come to the show, like whatever. It does not matter. They are all created equal and they are all precious in God's sight. And we need to remember that. Okay. So one thing that I want you to keep in mind as I'm saying that, one thing that I want you to keep in mind is I want you to think as like a mama bear. Okay. If somebody picks on your kids, does that not anger you? Okay. If someone is picking on your children, does that not just make you want to scream? Does it not just break your heart? Okay. Now, keeping that in mind, how do you think, no problem, Myra, thanks for popping in. Okay. Now, keeping that in mind, how do you think God might feel when we do not treat his children with respect? When we don't treat his children with kindness, or if we say or even think bad things about his children. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so number one. So put a 1 in the box if you're ready for number 1. Put a 1 in the box if you're ready for number 1. Awesome. Okay, so the first is give a thank you note. Okay, so whether it is to your hostess or if you want to thank a advanced order or whatever, send out thank you notes. Okay, handwritten thank you notes. They will go a long way. Okay, and for that matter, you can even do, if you don't want to do a card because a stamp is too much for you to pay, okay, then send a postcard. But either way, handwritten. Okay. All right. Number 2, put a 2 in the box. Put a 2 in the box. Thank you, my note keeper. I love that. Yes. So put a 2 in the box if you're ready for number 2. All right. So this one is directed toward your hostesses. Care enough to hostess coach. Now listen, I understand that we cannot always do this in the home. I understand that we cannot always home hostess coach. Okay, I get that. Me of all people gets that because many of my shows are between like an hour and 3.5 hours from my home. So I get that, okay? But make sure that you are doing something to reach out to your hostess, to share with her what is in her packet, what you're going to be doing for her, whatever. Make sure that she is aware of the things that she can do to work with you as a team to make this the most successful show that she can possibly have. Okay. And by the way, we're wanting those shows to be successful for her, not for us. Okay? It's not a matter of I want to make sure it's worth my time. No. It is always worth my time to go out and serve somebody else. Okay? So that's not the point. The point is to make it the most successful it can be for her so that she has a phenomenal experience, so that her guests have a phenomenal experience. Okay? So make sure that you are hostess coaching her at least over the phone. If you're able to do it in person, great. But if not, get on the phone and talk to her. Okay? Number three. Put a 3 in the box if you're ready for 3. I'm so glad y'all are here today. You have no idea. Although it was nice just, getting to chit chat with Tanya. Okay. All right. So number 3 is see through the hostess's eyes and through the guest's eyes. Okay. So here's what I mean by that. All right. You want to truly look at what you're doing and think to yourself, if I were the hostess in this situation, how would I be feeling? Or if I were the guest in this situation, how would I be feeling? Okay. So you want to put yourself in their position and then try to figure out how you would want someone to respond to you if you were in their shoes. How would you want someone to approach you? How would you want someone to handle themselves based on the situation and that kind of thing? Okay. So let me give you an example. Okay. So the hostess has been trying like crazy to get people to come to her show. And the day before her show, or even 3 days before her show, she says, you know what? I really think I only have one guest coming. Maybe we should just turn this into a catalog show. And what do we say to that? No. Listen, I'm coming to see you. I want to spend time with you. I want to be able to play in the jewelry box with you. So you know what? We will serve anybody who comes. But listen, it's not about the number of people that you can get here in order of it being, for it to be worth my time. It's worth my time to come and spoil you, to spend time with you, to get to know you. So I would love to still come and share my jewelry box with you. Okay? So listen, you do that. You go anyway. You don't say, oh, okay, no problem. Well, let me know when you can get like 5 or more people there and then I'll come. No, don't do that. Okay. Don't do that. All right. So now let's put it in terms of guests. Okay. Maybe you have a ultra shy guest there and she literally knows nobody except for the hostess. And you can tell she's kind of like cowering in a corner. Listen, approach her, but approach her gently. Okay. Don't come at her like a wildcat and try to just pull her right into the mix. Okay. But go befriend her, talk to her, ask her to join you over at the table for a couple minutes or things like that. Okay. Ask her about her family, that kind of thing. All right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. No, and here's the thing. I was literally appalled when I found out that there are other companies out there that tell their consultants that you do not even go do a show unless she has at least 5 confirmed guests and has at least X amount of dollars in advanced orders. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Okay. All right. So the key is to remember that we are there to enrich their life, not the reverse. Okay. We're there to enrich their life, not the reverse. All right. Now, of course, y'all know how blessed you are by being there and serving those people. But yeah, exactly, Jenny. You got it. Okay. All right. So when those guests are coming in, introduce yourself, greet them. Okay. I do my best, and again, I'm very lucky because I have my hubby that goes with me. Now listen, because he goes with me and because he sets up the display, I arrive at like 6:30. Okay. If you do not have someone going with you to help, then you might want to arrive at 6:15 if you have a 7 o'clock show to give you time to set up, but then you go and you help that hostess with anything. If she needs help getting out the snacks, if she needs help serving refreshments, if she needs help just because people are ringing the door and she's in the kitchen, go answer the door for her and introduce yourself. Okay? All right. Another thing that you can do, I don't even know what number we're on. Let's see here. We're on 5. I'm sorry, we're on 5. We forgot to say 4. We're on 5. Put a 5 in the box. If you're ready for 5. Listen, I just get carried away sometimes. Okay, so number 5 is call her by her name. Listen, you want to make somebody feel special. You want to make somebody feel cared about and cared for. Call them by their name. Say their name. Okay, so here's the thing. As an example, back in the day when I worked at Walmart, okay, for 5 years, it was a whole different thing about customer service back then. And I swear, every time we go to Walmart now with my kids, I'm like, see, this would not have been allowed when I worked there. Because we had a couple of rules as associates at Walmart, okay? One of which was the 6-foot rule. If anyone was within 6 feet of you, you had to greet them by asking if there's anything you can do for them, if there's anything you can help them find, etc. Okay? So a greeting of somebody who got within 6 to 10 feet of you turned into something like, "Hi, how are you doing today? Is there anything I can help you find?" Y'all, if anybody has had that happen in the last decade at Walmart, put a 1 in the box because I would be really surprised. Okay, because anymore, it's almost like they keep their head down looking into the box that they're fooling with so they don't have to make eye contact because they feel if they make eye contact, they have to talk to you. Okay, so it's almost like you're not even there. Okay, so, but the other thing to that was when we were at the cash register and somebody paid with credit card, and back then they had to hand it to you to swipe it on the machine behind. Okay, you would have to look at that card, and I'm going to use Tanya's last name. Okay, you would have to look at that card, and when handing that receipt back to her, you would have to say, "Well, thank you so much for shopping with us today, Mrs. Winshaw." Now, I can only imagine how much they would struggle with having to just say her name. But yes, you would have to look at them and say, "Thank you for shopping with us today, Mrs. Winshaw," or "Thank you for shopping with us today, Mrs. Hood," or "Thank you for," whatever. You had to mention them by name. And let me tell you, you want to really throw somebody off, you go through a Walmart cash register line. Okay, you go through the cash register, and as you're being checked out by that cashier who's not even looking at you, look at their name tag. They're wearing name tags for a reason. Okay, look at their name tag. And when you catch it, when you look at that name tag and you walk up, you go up to them and you be like, "Well, hi there, Lisa. How are you doing today?" Look, she is going to look at you right away because she wants to know who knows her name, forgetting that she has a name badge on. Okay? But it makes people feel important. It makes them feel seen. And here's the thing. I do know that the cashiers and just customer service in general, okay, is really lacking out there in the world. All right? But here's the thing. I also feel like part of it is because of the fact that they have been treated like they don't exist for so long and by so many people that they just stop trying. And instead, it's more a matter of how quickly can I get these people through, because Walmart has 35 lanes, but they only have 5 open, and every lane has about 1,500 people in it. Okay, so in their head, they just get to where it's I just need to get these people through the line. I just need to get them through the line. Small talk is not permitted. I just need to get them through the line. Okay. So somewhere along the line, that customer service has has waned, and we as consumers have treated the people who are serving us in those industries so poorly that they have stopped trying. Okay. Or they have been told to stop trying because they're moving too slow. Okay. So you will truly stand out. Yes. If they seem grouchy or sad, smile, tell them thank you and to have a great day. Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing. When you see one of those cashiers who's just like, I mean, they just look miserable. Okay. And you walk up to them and you say, well, hi there, Lisa. How are you doing today? I mean, suddenly she's going to look up like, who's that? Who knows me? Okay. And you might catch her off guard and she might look at you dumbfounded, but chances are it's going to start a conversation. Okay. And you're going to make her feel good having been spoken to. Yes. Yeah. It is crazy. And listen, you will get those people too. You will get those people where you try to talk to them and they don't look at you. Or they might look at you with a look and just look away. Okay. But that doesn't mean stop trying. Okay. That doesn't mean stop trying. All right. Number 6. All right. And I think somebody did ask me if I use name tags at my show. The only name tag that is at my show is on me. I don't have anybody else use name tags, but I do have them introduce themselves, and I will try to use my name or use their name as often as possible throughout the night so that it sticks. Okay? Because I want it to stick. I don't want to go home and be like, so Mary Jones scheduled a show and I don't even remember which one she was. I don't want to do that. Okay. It's from, I think it was badgesorus.com. Listen, I didn't buy my name tag. My name tag was a gift to me. So, but I think on the back it says badgesorus.com. I think. Try it. I don't know. Okay. All right. So we are on number 6. Put a 6 in the box. Put a 6 in the box. Put a 6, 6, 6. There we go. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. We need more. We need more than 3 6s. I will tell you that. There we go. All right. When you are dealing with your customers and your hostesses, be conversational. Okay. Talk to them. Get to know them. Be a friend to them. Okay. Listen, people don't like just to invite strangers into their house. They will, however, invite a friend. They will, however, invite a kind person. Okay. So be conversational. Get to know them. Talk to them. Ask them about their job. Ask them about their kids. Ask them about whatever. Okay. But talk to them. All right. Okay. Number 7. Number 7. This is a good one, just so you know. Okay. Number 7. Stop worrying about what people think about you, and instead concern yourself with how you make them feel. Wow. Okay, seriously. Stop thinking about what people think of you and instead focus on how you make them feel. Okay, now listen. I hate to say that as people in general, but especially as women, we get so caught up in our own insecurities and our own like, oh, do they like me? Don't they like me? Blah, 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 whatever. Listen, just make her feel welcome. Make her feel good. Make her feel loved. Make her feel spoiled. And guess what? She's going to love you. Okay. That's just how people are. Okay. When they are being well taken care of by someone and they feel respected, they're going to love you. Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you want people to like you, make them feel amazing and it will happen. Okay. And for some, they're not going to like you anyway. It doesn't matter what you do. Okay. It is not going to matter what you do. They are just, some people, you just cannot please them. I saw a picture earlier that that made me laugh because it said, "You can't please everyone. You're not pizza." Okay. And it's so true. We have to stop focusing on pleasing everyone and just focus on serving them to the best of our ability and trying to make them feel special. That's our job. That's it. That's it. That's where it ends. Okay. All right. Number eight. Number eight. This is going to be helpful for many reasons. Okay. And it might sound weird that this is in for how to serve, but you'll understand. Okay. Establish credibility. Always looking the part of the jewelry lady or whatever your business is. Okay. If we have anybody else in here who's not with Premier, whatever your business is, always look the part of being a business professional. And here's why. It builds trust. It builds a respect for you and what you have to offer. And that allows them to feel confident in who they are working with. Okay. So if you say, as an example, if you are telling people that you are in the fashion industry and they have to look at you and be like, what? Okay. That's not going to leave them feeling confident in working with you, which means you're not going to be able to serve them the best way that you could. Okay. Even if you have all the knowledge up here, if you're not showing that here, it's going to be tough for them to feel confident. So another great way for you to serve your customers and your hostesses is to allow them to feel confident in who they are working with. Okay. All right. My numbers are messed up on my paper, so I think we're on 9. I have this. This is yes, yes. And here's the thing: if especially as jewelry ladies, listen, if we can't be there looking like the jewelry lady, what business do we have trying to get people to listen to us about how jewelry can help your appearance? If for one, maybe we're not even wearing jewelry, or for two, we're not dressing the part of someone who's in the fashion industry who should be giving fashion advice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. And I may have lost you guys. Okay. All right. Yay. We're back. We're back. Silly Periscope. Freezing up on me. Don't they know better? Okay. All right. So number 9, put a 9 in the box if you're ready for 9. We're going to try to get through these as quickly as possible. Okay. 9. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Okay, so number 9 of how you can best serve your customers and hostesses, conduct yourself appropriately. Okay, conduct yourself appropriately. Now listen, it is all well and fine for us to be there building those relationships and wanting to be friendly, okay? But make no mistake that you are there as a business professional to do a job. Remember that, okay? And again, this goes back to don't add your customers and hostesses to your Facebook page, to any of your social media, if you are not going to handle yourself appropriately through those outlets, okay? So remember, when you are dealing with customers and hostesses or prospects or whatever, you handle yourself appropriately, okay? All right, so that was number 9. All right, number 10. Number 10. Give me a 10 in the box if you're ready for number 10. And by the way, we have a total of 14. Should have told you that. Okay, number 10. Put a 10 in the box if you're ready for 10. Okay. Always, always, always be honest and ethical. Work your business with integrity. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And if you don't, own up to it. Okay? If you tell a hostess, Oh yeah, I'll get that packet out in the mail to you on Monday. And then it comes Friday the next week and you realize you didn't send it out. Don't you dare blame it on the postal service. Mm-mm. Don't you blame it on that postal service and go, oh, I wonder what happened. It must have got lost in the mail. Don't. Okay. Instead, you simply contact her and you say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I just realized I had promised you that I was going to send that hostess packet in the mail on Monday. And here it is on Friday. And I just totally forgot. I'm so sorry, but I'm putting it in the mail for you today. And then go do it. Okay. Don't sit it on the back burner because you'll forget again. Go do it. Okay. So do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Make sure that you are always, always, always being honest and ethical, working your business with integrity. Okay. Number 11, put an 11 in the box if you're ready for that. Number 11 of how to serve your customers and hostesses to the best of your ability. Okay. Number 11 is be prompt and prepared. Be prompt and prepared. Okay. If you are running in her door like a tornado because you literally have 5 minutes to set up before you're supposed to be doing your presentation and everything else, and it wasn't a case of, well, I left in plenty of time, but there was an accident and there was this. Listen, there's always exceptions to the rule. There are some things that are just strictly out of your control. But if you live 10 minutes from your hostess and you are showing up at her house 5 minutes before the presentation is supposed to start, simply because you waited too long to get yourself ready and you forgot about this and you forgot about that and everything else. So then you're running out of your house like a chicken with your head cut off and you are barely making it to her show before the guests are there. That's not good. Okay. You should be there. If you tell her, and listen, I got away from, I used to just say, I'll be there at 6:30. Okay. Now, what I do is I give myself a 15-minute time frame because you never know when traffic might trip you up a little bit or things like that, or maybe because we usually leave much earlier than what we need to just in case there are traffic issues. So as an example, I would say something to the effect of, we will be arriving between 6:15 and 6:30. Our goal is actually to be there at like 6:20. So we kind of come in right in the middle. So it's not right at the beginning and right at the end. Does that make sense? Okay. So sometimes it might even be where maybe we roll up and it's actually like 10 minutes after 6. Listen, we will drive around the block. We will drive around the block or, go grab a quick coffee somewhere to take there with us or whatever. Yes. And here's the thing. It's so different about getting lost because funny story. So I punched into my GPS that I was going to, let me think about this, Pearson's Corner Road or something. So that was the address that I punched into my GPS, was Pearson's Corner Road, whatever. It was actually supposed to be like, Pearson Corner Lane or something. Like it was like a difference of like whether it was a road or a lane or a drive or whatever. Listen, I was like 20 minutes to 30 minutes away from where I was actually supposed to be. Like I roll up and I wind up calling the hostess because I'm like, hey, so I'm on this road and I realized that I can't find you. I'm looking for this house number and it doesn't seem to be here. And she's like, okay, well, tell me where you're at. And I'm like, well, the numbers that I'm looking at, like it goes from this to this. And then there's this intersection. And she's like, oh, sweetie, you're on Pearson's Corner Road and not Pearson Corner Lane. We're like 25 minutes over. I'm like, oh. But here's the thing. Okay. There are times when that happens. I understand. Okay. But don't make that the norm. Don't make that the norm. People should not get like develop a mentality with you that, oh yeah, she's the jeweler that she's always late. Dude, she's not going to be here on time. She's always late. Okay, you do not want to be that person. Don't be that person. Okay. All right, number 12. Number 12. Put a 12 in the box if you're ready for number 12. Number 12. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. Number 12. Serve in the literal sense. You are working. Don't forget that. Okay. You are working. Do not be one of those consultants that just says, okay, well, I'm going to go over here and sit in the corner and eat some brownies. When you're ready, you just let me know. Don't be that girl. And y'all, I've met some of those girls. Thankfully not in Premiere. But don't be one of those girls, okay? Don't be one of those girls who just goes and sits and hides in a corner eating the refreshments that the hostess has provided, and you make your guests and customers and hostess come to you. Don't do that. Be there to serve, okay? All right, number 13. Number 13. This is a big one. This is a big one too. And I just learned something new about this, by the way. Okay, number 13 is, yes, the more interactive, the better the response. You got it. Okay, number 13 is submit shows, orders, and returns and exchanges in a timely manner. Okay. Do y'all know, I don't know how it is with other companies, but do y'all know that through Premiere, we have a legal obligation to make sure that our guest hostesses, etc., have the jewelry that they ordered within 30 days from the date that we collected payment? Did you know that? I didn't know that. Okay. I've been in for over 9 years and I didn't know that. Okay. I knew that as rule of thumb, I would always tell my hostesses and, you know, that it's recommended for us to get shows, you know, put in within 10 days from the date of the show. And listen, and it's not even that Premiere has that as like a requirement, but it's a highly suggested. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now here's the thing. It doesn't matter. Okay. Because you will have hostesses who will, and I've learned my lesson on this too. You will have hostesses who will receive their stuff, receive the show order, and they don't get it to their guests. Okay. I typically, here's what I do, Anita. If I have a show on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, my goal is to get them closed out on Tuesday. That's my goal, is to close them out that following Tuesday. That just allows them to catch up with people over the weekend, see the ladies at church, whatever. But I try to get them closed out that next Tuesday. If they can't, or if it's a, well, could we close out on Friday so that they have one more paycheck? Then I will allow it to go to Friday, but typically it's no more than 1 week from the date of which the show was held. Okay. So Fridays is usually okay, we weren't able to do it on Tuesday. It needs to be in by Friday. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes. I tell them when we're going to close it. I say, okay, we're like, when I'm giving them the sheet that says how your efforts have paid off, and it shows like what their retail is, what their free jewelry credit is so far, how many half price items they've earned, gives them a little spot that tells them, gives them a little spot where they can jot down like who they might need to get in touch with about an order, payment, etc. Yeah. And then there's a little line that says tentative date for closing your show. And I automatically fill that in of, we're going to try to close this out by Tuesday. Now, listen, if they want to close it out earlier, if they say, well, you know what, I'll actually be ready by Sunday evening. Okay, great. No problem. Yes. Yeah. But if you tell them they only have till Tuesday, they'll be like, okay, well, no problem. Well, you know what? I'll probably be ready before then. If you say, well, you can have until like for 10 days, they will take the full 10 days, and chances are you won't even wind up with any additional orders. Like, I hate to say that, but that's typically what happens. It's very rare for people to hold the show open and submit much more than maybe like another $40 order. So if they know they only have till Tuesday, they will contact those people that might be placing an order and let them know. And like I said, occasionally, because of where I live, occasionally I'll have people that will say, well, could we wait until the next one, because we have a lot of government employees in my area that get paid the 1st and the 15th, as well as a lot of retirees that get paid the 1st and the 15th, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So here's the thing. Sometimes when you come across that, the best thing you can do is to let her know that, we have an obligation to make sure that the guests are receiving their items in a timely manner, and that it's required for us to have that to them, which means the show has been held. Now we're uploading the show. It has to be packaged. It has to be shipped and arrive to her. And we need to make sure that that all happens within a period of less than 30 days. So it can help if she knows that it's not just your rule, but that we have a legal obligation to make sure that people are receiving their items in a timely manner. That can help. The other thing is, and I've done this, I've only ever had to do this twice in my 9 years, and I didn't even actually have to do it, because once they received this message, they called me. But there was twice where I had hostesses that were they were just dragging it out. And I wound up calling, and I left a message and said, well, hi, Sally, this is Buffy, the jewelry lady. I've been trying to reach you about getting your show closed out. But I just wanted to let you know that because I have to have these shows closed out within 10 days from the date of which the show was held, tomorrow is actually the deadline to be able to get your show uploaded. So I wanted to contact you because we can, if you're not ready with your jewelry order, then what I can do is I will actually select your jewelry items for you based on our top 25 bestsellers. And I will have that order shipped directly to you. If you would prefer to be able to pick out your own jewelry, I would love for you to contact me before 8 p.m. this evening. And y'all, you would not believe how quickly I get phone calls. Now, like I said, I only had to make 2 of those phone calls in 9 years. But they called immediately, and it was like, oh, no. Here, I have my order ready. I'll email that over to you right now. Okay, because they don't want me picking out their bling. They want to pick out their own stuff. Okay, but when they realize that you need to, so here's the thing. When you are at a show and they say, now how long can we keep this open for? Have a day in your mind already where you say, well, I had intended on us getting this closed out on Tuesday. Would that work? And she goes, oh, could we have one more payday? Sure, we can close it out on Friday. And then you close it out on Friday. Well, here's the thing. Here's what you can do, okay? Especially if your hostess lives close by. You may initially pay the shipping and the tax. Now, for me, I'm lucky because I live in Delaware, so the most I would pay is $4 for the shipping. But we don't pay tax. Okay, so here's the thing. So you could, if she lives local to you, you select her items and you have the jewelry come to you. And then in order for her to pick up her items, she needs to meet with you along with said payment of tax and shipping, of which you would have covered for her, in order for her to get her items. Does that make sense? Okay. But then here's the thing. Typically, it's not going to come down to that. It usually does not come down to that. If you tell her, I need to get this in within 10 days, most of them are going to be respectful of that. Okay. And if you're on like the 8th day, I would just contact her and say, hey, I just wanted to give you a call again, as we only have 2 more days for me to be able to get this uploaded. The other option is, instead of you leaving the message that you're going to select her items for her, you could even say that if she doesn't contact you within a timely manner, that because of the legal obligation you have to get the customers their items in a timely manner, that you will have to upload those as individual orders. And then unfortunately she would forfeit her hostess benefits. Okay. Now again, if you, it rarely, it doesn't come down to that. Okay. It usually does not come down to that. If you tell her this is the date that we're going to close the show, most times she will look at that and go, oh, well, that's no problem. I can actually do it a couple days sooner if that's okay. Or she'll say, well, instead of on Tuesday, could we do on Friday for those who get paid on Friday? Sure, we can do it on Friday, but we'll have to get it done on Friday. Okay, no problem. And then you just make sure that you are reaching out to her in several different ways. Don't just, when you try to contact somebody, don't just focus on like calling them. It might mean that one time you call them, the next time you text them, the next time you email them, the next time you Facebook message them. Facebook message is wonderful because you can tell when they've read it. So that's one of the reasons why I also friend my hostesses and my customers, because it tells me if they read it. So at least I know they received the information. Okay. So yes. Okay. And then we have our last one, which kind of sort of goes along with it, but has a little bit of a different spin on it. Okay, so number 14, but 14 in the box if you're ready for number 14. And then I'm going to let y'all go because I've held you up way too long. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up quickly. Number 14, okay, I'm trying to, I have something written down with this. Okay. All right. So number 14 is be happy to take care of the REs, of customers who have not had a good experience, hostesses who have not had a good experience previously, things like that. Be happy to take care of those things. Okay. Don't roll your eyes. Don't get all sassy when somebody calls you and says, I got this piece in and it was already broken when I got it. Don't get sassy. Don't automatically be like, oh, okay. Or if they get it, and I've had this, and this I was kind of like, what? Because I had somebody come to a show, tried on the piece, then ordered the piece, and when the piece came in, they decided they didn't like it, that it was too heavy. They tried it on at the show. Okay. But suddenly it was, I'm just not happy with it. And I'm going, you tried it on. Okay. But we need to not do that. We need to just go, okay, no problem. I'll be happy to get that taken care of for you. Simply select something else from out of the catalog of equal or greater value. You'll pay any difference, and we'll get that taken care of for you. I just need that item to get back to me. You can ship it to me at this address, and as soon as I receive it, I'll get that processed. That's it. Okay. Or if you're close enough where you can physically go pick it up from her, okay, then go ahead, go pick it up from her, because here's the thing. That gives you another face-to-face contact with her. That gives you another chance to be able to serve her. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you can to serve them in person when possible. But again, if you have a customer who lives 3 hours away from you, obviously you can't go pick it up. Okay. If you have a customer who lives 2 hours away from you, chances are you're not going to be able to go pick it up unless you happen to be going to that area again. Had a customer who bought well-worn pieces and wanted to exchange them. Gotcha. So yeah, and make sure that you're explaining that golden guarantee well at your shows. Make sure that they understand that the return portion for getting a different item or new piece or whatever, that is more geared toward manufacturer defect issues. Okay. Whereas if they're wanting to send a piece back simply because they do not like it, they have 5 days. 5 days from the date that they receive it to decide whether or not they like it or do not like it and contact you. So I make sure that they always know that and understand that. Listen, it's going to happen. You're going to have some people who are going to try to take advantage of the situation. You're going to have some people who are going to try to take advantage of your kindness, but that doesn't mean don't do that. No, from when the customer receives it, not from when the hostess receives it. Because I got to be honest, most hostesses are not getting their jewelry out to their friends within 5 days of them receiving that piece. So it's 5 days from when the customer receives it. So when she receives it in her hands, to check it, make sure that she's happy with it. If she's not, then contact me within the first 5 days. I've been shipping an envelope to them for RE. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't do that, and there's a reason that I don't do that personally. I don't have every piece that we have, and I don't know the weight of the pieces that are being shipped or anything else. For me, it would be really silly for me to try to guess what the weight of that piece is going to be for them to be able to ship it back to me or to Premier or whatever. Honestly, you would probably be better off that if you are asking them to mail it to you and you don't feel right about them having that cost, then you can choose to reimburse them for that. But here's what I would consider, what I would suggest you think about. If they were to purchase anything from offline, okay, unless it's stipulated in the return policy that they can send those items back for free, okay, they're going to pay shipping on anything else or pay gas money to return anything else that they ever purchase from anywhere. Okay, that's, to me, if I order something online or from off of an infomercial, which I don't know that I've ever done, but if I were ever to do something like that, okay, I would be fully aware that if something happened to a piece or to an item that I purchased and I needed to send it back, I would fully expect to pay shipping to send that piece back or to send that item back. Honestly, like I said, I just tell them that, sure, I'll be happy to get that taken care of for you. If you can just pop that in the mail to me, you can send it to me and I give them my address and that's it. There's no, I don't know that I don't know that there has to be verbiage as far as well, I hope you understand you're going to pay for your own shipping. You don't, you know what I mean? There's no need to discuss that. It's simply a matter of, well, sure, I'd be happy to get that taken care of for you. You can send it back to me at this address. And then I will include all the proper paperwork with it and get it taken care of through Premier. Oh, gotcha. So here's the thing. This is why you want to be careful about offering things or doing things that you are not fully prepared to continue doing. Okay? Because basically you teach people what to expect from you through your business. And if you, as an example, if you always offer this, or you always offer that, and then suddenly you decide to stop doing it, they're going to be like, I wonder why she's not doing that anymore. Okay. Whereas if it's as an example, there have been times before where I would, sometimes I would take care of the $5 return and exchange fee or things like that. Sometimes I would do that for people in certain situations, but I would always say as a one-time courtesy, I'd be willing to offer this, or I'd be willing to take care of this for you, or as a one-time courtesy, I'd be happy to reimburse you for the shipping costs to send that back to me. But it doesn't mean that you have to do that all the time. It allows them to see that, you know what, for this one time, she's going to be super generous and she's going to take care of that for me. But the next time, I know that this is something I'm going to have to deal with. So I would say for those regular customers that you have, maybe you could say because obviously it wouldn't be the first time that you did that or took care of that, whatever. Or even if you are currently sending them postage paid envelopes, just tell them to send it to you. And chances are they might not even question it. I don't know. But yeah, I would be very careful about offering certain things if you're not willing to continue maintaining that. Because people start developing expectations of how they should be treated and what they're going to get from you and everything else. So, as an example, me offering the 20% off to my hostesses for an entire year, I would never decide that I'm going to stop doing that, very honestly. Because, for one, that is one of the things that I feel like keeps those hostesses loyal to me, is that they know they're going to get spoiled, and they know that they're going to get 20% off. So they are typically going to save any orders that they want to place throughout the year. They're going to bring them to me. Okay. So I wouldn't just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to offer that anymore, because they'd probably be like, what? Okay. Yes, they get 20% off when going to a friend's show. Yes. Yep. And here's the thing. I do understand, because I've had people say before, well, doesn't that take away from that friend then? Like, doesn't that take away from that hostess if there's a previous hostess there and she's getting 20% off? And it's like, yeah, but you know what? Next, she's going to be that friend at other people's shows, and she's going to be getting 20% off. So to me, it's a wash. Because what she would have gotten free jewelry, she's now getting it as a discount at her friend's show. So, yeah. So I don't sweat it. I don't sweat it. And here's the thing. You would be amazed as to how happy they are. And I always tell people too at that show, hey, guess what? This hostess is going to be receiving 20% off discount for the next year. So when you all schedule your shows, guess what? She's going to be able to come, and she's going to be able to use that 20% off discount at your show. All right. So then that way it kind of, it builds them up to know, like, hey, when your friends schedule a show from you, you're going to want to make sure that you support them by going to their show and placing an order, and you're going to get 20% off. And it already lets the future hostess know that her friend is going to be getting 20% off. So, and lets her know then that she's going to be able to do that, and etc. So yeah. But I've held you guys up for an entire hour, so I guess we made up for yesterday, right? Okay, so tomorrow is going to be our Truth Be Told Thursday, and that is where you have an opportunity to ask me questions about the who, what, where, when, how of my business, the different things that I do, different scenarios that I've been in, etc., why I do certain things, the way that I do them, whatever. And you will be able to ask me those questions tomorrow. Okay, so I look forward to being able to see you guys tomorrow. Yes. Oh, yay. That's awesome, Myra. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Can y'all see my, like, I have, like, disco lights going on behind me because of my ring and my bracelet. Sorry. Little squirrel moment. So tomorrow we will be back for that Truth Be Told Thursday at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you again so much for being here. Thank you for all your participation, for the hearts and everything else. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.